Hi, I'm Naomi Cole. I'm a rising sophomore, biology major, chemistry psychology double minor from Howard University. This summer, I've been in the Mahler lab exploring the mechanisms by which psychedelics work. In human trials, psychedelics have proven to be a worthwhile treatment for mental disorders such as PTSD, depression, addiction, and so we're using a rat model of PTSD to investigate the relationship between the context or the environment in which psychedelics are administered to rats and the efficacy of that psychedelic treatment. And what I'm looking at is the neural substrates of these different groups. So I'm looking at the biological differences between each group to understand the mechanisms that psychedelics work by on a biological level. So my favorite part of working in the lab so far has been learning new things, for one, and two, just contributing to a body of knowledge that doesn't have much work done in it so far, and making new discoveries and filling in all of the gaps and asking questions that haven't been asked before.
Hi, my name is Kate Lawson. I am a now going to be fifth year graduate student in Steve Mahler's lab at UC Irvine. My interest in the lab have to do with psychiatric disorders and stress. So how does stress in our rodent models induce symptoms of psychiatric disorders? That can be addiction, depression, or post-traumatic stress disorder. So one of my more recent projects has been looking at PTSD and then trying to cure those symptoms that we induce with stress using psychedelic drugs, which has been very hot in psychiatry right now. So it's a very fun field to be in, and we're learning so much throughout the course of this project that we're working on right now. And we found a lot of really interesting behavioral effects of our psychedelics through this project so far, looking at the persistence of our psychedelic effect, looking at the dependence of context on the effect. Does a bad trip affect, the therapeutic efficacy that we're seeing? And we've seen that it does. I really loved having Naomi in the lab this summer. It really is a treat to get to mentor students, and especially to have a student that is so willing to do what I ask, even if it's boring, even if it's, not the most thrilling thing to have going on in the lab. It's really repetitive. But to see a student who's enthusiastic about learning the neuroanatomy, perfecting the process, and optimizing the techniques that they're given has been really exciting.
Hi, I'm Steve Mahler. I'm a professor of neurobiology and behavior at University of California, Irvine, and also the director of the Irvine Center for Addiction Neuroscience. So Naomi's been working on a project this summer on psychedelics. And so this fits into a broader theme of the lab in which we're trying to understand how psychiatric disorders work in the brain, and then try to kind of learn how to intervene in these disorders in ways that may help people. So psychedelics are a new type of treatment. It's actually not that new, but has been sort of rediscovered as potentially useful in psychiatry for several disorders, depression and addiction and things like that. And yet there's really not a lot of good ways to study how these things actually work in the brain, especially in humans. And this is why we are trying to develop some new, more translationally relevant animal models in rats, in which we can try to administer these drugs under similar situations to how they're given in the clinic. So we really enjoy having undergraduates through the HBCU program in our lab, which we've done in the last 3 years. And it's been just remarkable seeing these scientists that often don't have a lot of experience and don't really even sometimes consider themselves yet to be scientists start to embrace that identity as they learn how the techniques work, how the brain works, how we actually use some of these tools to study the brain, which is one of the most rewarding things about this job from my perspective, and I know that's also true of the graduate students that work with our summer students as well. It gives them an opportunity to get some mentoring experience, which is a huge part of the career of science. It's really training the next generation, something we value a lot and prioritize a lot in the lab, and we just love having this particular opportunity to do so.